Hi VelociTube, it's Janae. I'm here for another update video. Since I last recorded, lots of things have happened. It's been a very busy time. One of those things, I graduated from school, so that was very exciting. I am now an MD, so that's fun. And in conjunction with that, I moved to Baltimore for a new job. So I'm now living in downtown Baltimore. I have this new apartment and I can see the light is a little strong on this side, so I hope that's okay. I might have to change my filming location next time. I do like the light that I get. I have a huge window here, like very large window, but maybe I need to sit somewhere else. So I'll have to think about that before I do my next video. So I've just been doing orientation stuff for the last couple weeks, and things are really going to start up for me on Sunday night. I'm starting on a night float rotation, so I go in at 9 p.m. on Sunday night, and that's my first official day as an intern. So I haven't done clinical work in a long time, in several months, just because of all the graduation stuff and the way fourth year is in medical schools. Usually you don't do a lot clinically near the end of the year, and so I'm a little nervous to restart, but hopefully I pick it up quickly and I don't get overwhelmed, because the learning curve is very steep for interns. So, but that's kind of what's coming down the road for me. I've kind of explored Baltimore a little bit. It's been fun, but hot. Though, I guess that's not much different than DC. I guess the difference here is that I don't have a car. I lent my car to my sister for a couple months, so I've been walking and riding my bike everywhere, which is fine because I live downtown, and I don't really need a car, but now I'm outside a lot more. So even though DC is probably about the same climate-wise, temperature and humidity as Baltimore, I feel like Baltimore is so much worse because I am not in my car when I'm traveling places. And so I walk to the hospital and I feel hot when I get there, and because it's so wet outside. Ugh, it's kind of gross, but it's just the way it is. So yeah, I've had a lot of things happen in my cross-stitch life as well since I last recorded, and I kind of wanted to touch on real quick, my recordings have been more spaced out, as well as my Instagram posts. I haven't really been posting a lot on Instagram, and it's not because I don't want to do those things. I've just for some reason gotten into this mindset where I want to have significant progress before I share stuff with you guys. And so I feel like I'm a really slow stitcher, and I don't like to show pictures of things half done, which is stupid because I like seeing pictures like that from you guys. So those are kind of things that have been holding me back from recording and posting pictures on Instagram lately, but I hope that I can kind of get over it and share stuff, because I like seeing your guys' stuff, and so I think that you might like to see my stuff too. So just something I've been thinking about, but it's just hard to come back after a month and only have a little bit done, or just not anything that impressive to show. So anyway, I'd like to get back to monthly videos, but who knows if that's going to happen. I really can't commit to that because, especially with the new job, I don't really know how much time I'll be stitching, and I don't know how easy it will be to make a video. So we'll just see how things pan out, but I just thought I'd kind of mention it, kind of get feedback from you guys. Anyway, so I have some finishes to show. I have 2 finishes and an FFO, which was also a new start. That is one that I actually posted on Instagram. So part of the problem with my Instagram posting is I usually take pictures with my camera, which is what I'm recording on right now, and then in order to post those pictures on Instagram, I have to plug the memory card into my computer and edit the pictures, like if I want to crop it or something, and then I have to upload it to Drive and then upload it to Instagram through Drive. So it's kind of like a longer process. The reason that you saw, if you follow me on Instagram, the reason you saw the posts of this FFO that I'm going to show you is because I was taking those pictures on my phone, and I don't really like the way the pictures turn out on my phone, but I don't know, it's just like, I kind of felt bad for not posting pictures, and I was excited to like try to get something done in a day, which I did. It was really exciting. So I don't know, maybe I could just start posting pictures from my phone again, but I don't know, I really like the way the camera pictures turn out. So anyway, okay, so my FFO is a design by Lizzie Kate. Actually, this was some haul, so maybe I can show that to you too. So this was a recent chart that came out by Lizzie Kate. It's called She Believed She Could. And I don't really do charts with words, and if there are words, I usually just chart the like pictures part, because I don't know, I don't really like cutesy sayings and stuff like that. I didn't do this one, but I think it's really a nice sentiment. It says, everything changed the day she figured out there was exactly enough time for the important things in life. Which I think it's a nice sentiment. I did this one. This is the reason I bought the chart. She believed she could, so she did. And the reason this chart was different as far as the words go is like this, she believed she could, so she did, is kind of like been my mantra since I like started attempting to get into med school and stuff. And so anyway, it's just like been a saying that I have in my life that I don't know, I really like. So I did this over 1 on a 28 count. It was just a 28 count that I had in my stash, and I don't know what it is. But it's kind of like a tanny cream. And then I framed it in a frame that I found like at a thrift store last time I went home. And this is how it ended up. The frame was only 75 cents. Isn't that cute? Anyway, I really think it turned out very sweet. I think the over 1 is perfect. The blue words are showing up more blue than they are in real life. They're kind of more of like a gunmetal in real life, but with like hints of blue underneath, which is cool because in the picture, in the picture it looks more gray. Well, I thought it was more of like a grayish brown, but it's more of like a bluish gray in real life. Anyway, I think it looks really cute, and I think it's great in this little frame, and it just sits on my desk now. So if you did see the picture I posted on Instagram, it sits on my desk next to this little cast iron dog that I bought last time I went home too, because I really want a dog, but since I ended up moving to Baltimore and like I'm living in a smaller apartment, I don't know that a dog is such a great idea for me right now, so I got my cast iron dog instead, and he's really cute. I haven't named him yet, but maybe someday I'll think of a name for him. But anyway, I think this turned out really sweet and I liked it. I would do it again. Like these would be good little gifts if anybody else, if anybody in my life were inspired by this mantra, I might consider making it up for a gift because it really only took a day to do, and I'm like a super slow stitcher. I mean, it took several hours, don't get me wrong, but like I also took some breaks and like did other things in the midst of it. So the photos on Instagram aren't really real time, but yeah, it was still a pretty quick stitch. So that was a fun FFO. So actually, so this is my first one, or sorry, this is my second 1/1 project. I did another 1/1 project earlier this month. Also, it was also a project from my haul, and I actually lent it to my mom, so I don't have it to show you, but I think it's called Fairy Garden, and it's part of the Garden Club series from, I'm pretty sure it's Blackbird Designs. And I took a picture of it, and I'll insert a picture of it here. I think it turned out really sweet. I did it on the called for fabric, which I think was a 32 count. I originally had bought like a 36 count for it because I really wanted to try over one on like a smaller count, but the Evergreen Needle, she messaged me and mentioned that like maybe you want to try starting on like a 28 count first because it kind of gets harder the higher you go. And so I just chose 32 count because the original plan was to put that one in this frame, but the color of the fabric, it was the called for fabric, it was like straw, I think, by Wheats Dye Works, and the color was too yellow. It didn't look good in the gold frame, so we didn't end up putting it in the gold frame. Here's another picture of it next to a stamp so that you can kind of get like an idea of its size. I just think it's so cute. I really liked the process. It was fun. I liked it, and obviously, I liked it enough to do it again on the She Believed She Could piece. So I ended up gifting that one to my mother because she came out here to help me move in and set everything up, which was really sweet. And she's been like wanting to make a needle book, and I originally was gonna make that into a needle book for her because we thought it'd be good, but then I was like, well, because I finished it on the day before she left, so I just gave it to her and gave her some like felt and stuff and said she should make it herself, and she was happy with that, It's a great gift, right? Anyway, so that was on a 32 count, and it was a little tighter. It was a little harder to do just because after looking at it closely for so long, like while I'm stitching it, and then like getting up to do something else, like make dinner or something, it's like my eyes are like, they take 30 or 60 seconds to adjust to like far distance because it's like right in your face because it's so small. But I really liked it, and I hope to do some more 1/1. I really want to try it on like a smaller count fabric, but I need to find the correct chart, which I may already have. I don't know. I've been thinking about a couple charts that I have already, but maybe we'll talk about that later. So other finishes, which you guys probably were anticipating, the Nativity cross stitch, the Nativity sampler by the Victoria Sampler. I did a nice close-up look at this. Oh, I'm like storing them on hangers in my new house because I'm not going to be able to frame them for a while because I don't know where a framer is, and I really don't have a lot of money right now to be framing stuff anyway because like moving is so expensive. Like, I don't know. It's just so expensive when you have to like settle into a new house and figure out, you know, how to organize everything. Like I had to buy new shelves and like hardware for some of the shelves, and you know, like new cords for like the electronics and stuff like that. Anyway, it's just like setting up your house just seems to be such a money drain. So anyway, eventually I'll be paid, and then sometime I'll hopefully be able to frame this. So the part, I'm pretty sure I had already had the entire thing finished last time I showed it to you, except for the bottom. So the bottom part I changed up a little bit from what was charted. And the idea here was because I'll put up a picture of what's charted so you can see, and then you can compare it to this one that I did. And I didn't like how the charted one had like some obvious hearts in it, and so I chose to do it this way, and this was based on like a picture I saw of another Victoria sampler piece. It was like the birth sampler or something, and it didn't look like hearts, it just looked like diamonds. But after I finished it, I realized, oh, it did end up like being hearty, which is okay because it's still I still like how it turned out. The reason the birth sampler didn't look like hearts is because they used, I think, I don't remember because this was a while ago now, but I think I realized that they used this same, the pearl cotton that they used to wrap the bars matched the linen fabric. So if I had done that, then the hearts wouldn't have been as obvious, I think. Anyway, you can see that there are these eyelets out of the gold Krennic, which was interesting. I've never done that before with Krennic. And then there's these dove's eyes that kind of make up the big heart. And then some more of those Algerian eyelets. And then there's also, you can see Algerian eyelets with the pearl cotton. So I think this turned out really nice. And like I said, it's not exactly as charted, but I think it works well. I'm pretty sure I showed you this scene, but if not, here's the last scene, which is you know, the family itself. So I guess I can just show you a really quick run through. But if you really want to see like a good slow close-up of this one, definitely just look up my last video because I kind of go through it row by row. Okay, so my last finish was a very exciting one. I finished my Mirabilia, which was the garden party, and I think it turned out great. For those of you who want to know, I'm pretty sure I had at least one comment on this, and I don't know why. I didn't respond because I didn't have this like close at hand, and I just keep forgetting to respond. But for those of you who are asking, this is a 32 count Belfast linen in Nocturne by Picture This Plus. I got this piece from the Christmas in July sale last year. So, you know, it was pretty affordable. I don't remember how much it was, but, you know, I got it, so it must have been good enough for me. Price-wise, I mean. So this is the whole piece. Oh, maybe I should stand back a little bit. It's kind of big, I guess. This is the whole piece. I love how it turned out. The beading is really beautiful, and I feel like I just feel like it turned out perfectly. Not to say my stitching is perfect, but you know, it turned out as well as I could have hoped for my first Mirabilia. So I'll go ahead and show close up. I love her little crown or tiara, I'm not really sure what you would call it. And then she has kind of like a matching earring here, and these are like a gold bead with like silver lining, I think. And it kind of just has this rose gold feel to it. I really like it. And here are the lanterns behind her, which I really like as well. This bird. Okay, I know you love this one. Alright, and then let's go ahead and just do her whole dress. So she has those beads down the back that are buttons, I guess, and then on her side, on the side of her arm as well. You can see some of the leaves are beaded. Those beads were a little bit difficult to fit in their places. It was pretty tight for those beads on her dress. Sorry to swing this around, I'm just not sure how to move it up slowly. And then down here on the ground, I've never really been able to figure out what those are, but I just figure, I don't know, I guess I kind of think they're like grapes, like they're having a garden party in a vineyard or something, but that's kind of weird. Why would you like have grapes on the ground with these beautiful dresses? So maybe they're just like a crawling flower vine plant thing. So that is the blue lady. I call her Elizabeth because she has brown hair, like Elizabeth Bennet. And then here's the blonde lady. I call her Georgiana because she has blonde hair. Although I don't really love her expression. And I did initially want to change her expression when I first started this, but once I got to the back stitching, I was actually finding it really challenging, the facial features, because I don't have a lot of experience with back stitching, to be honest, and I've never done a face ever. So I don't feel like these turned out perfectly, but you know, that's as good as I could do. And so I didn't really feel confident making changes to the back stitch, since I didn't even feel confident doing the charted back stitch. So maybe, you know, maybe if this hadn't been my first one, I could have changed her face. But yeah, I still think it looks really nice. I didn't even realize, just looking at the chart, how big her earrings were until I started beating them on, and they're just like these huge, gaudy things. It's kind of awesome. Or even like her hair, I didn't realize. Hers, yeah, so she was like more of a surprise to me to stitch because I didn't really grasp what it was gonna look like exactly based on the picture or the chart. So that was kind of fun to do her face. And then I like how back here near the lantern there's like a big rose or a big like flower peeking out from behind her back. I think it's like, or at least, you know, when I look at it, I think of it as being like a big, you know, bow that goes from one side of her dress to the other. So I kind of like that. And these vines are kind of weird to do, but I think they turned out okay in the end. I already talked about this in my last video, that these flowers were like the most confetti I've ever done in my life. Because, you know, I do a lot of things like Little House Needleworks type style, and so I really had never done confetti ever. So this is kind of like a first for me. And there were like 2 large clumps of them. And then some more of those you know, viney purple flowers or grapes. Who knows? Take your pick. But I think it turned out really great. And I'm excited to get it framed. Honestly, it's not really my style as far as like decor is concerned. So I'm not sure where I'm gonna put this. But I do really love how it turned out, and I definitely want to hang it up. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I like to frame all of my pieces. So yeah, this will be no different, especially because I think it's beautiful and the beading is gorgeous. This is like something that would go in my office once I have an office, but I mean like my home office, not my work office. But yeah, in my home office or like sewing room, but I live in a studio, so I don't have one of those yet, but someday, you know, in the future. Okay, so those 4 were my finishes, the one that, you know, you didn't see, and then the FFO and the 2 finishes that aren't framed. And then, let's see, I have New Start and Whips. So why don't we go ahead and do the New Start first. I just finished a section on this last night, and I was really excited, so I'll show that off. I'll show you the chart. Okay, so I've been kind of like exploring this 1/1 idea for like full pieces, and that in conjunction with another thing, which is so after spending so much money on moving and all that, I kind of decided that I'm going to stitch everything in my stash before I buy anything new. I still have some like haul to show because that was before I made that resolution, but now I've decided I'm gonna stitch everything I have before I buy anything new. And I really don't have that much stuff. I mean, not like a lot of you, but I do have some. And so once I had decided to do that, I decided to do this one, which I've had for a couple years, and I want to do it 1/1. And so this is called Little House Neighborhood. It's by Little House Needleworks. Like I was saying, you know, those are the designs I do. So I'm doing this 1/1. True to form, I am not doing the words. A little house, a little tree, a neighborhood for you and me. So cute, but I don't know. A neighborhood for me and who? Like, I live alone. So maybe I'll like put like, I don't know, I don't know what I'm going to do at the bottom, but it's not going to say that, if anything. If anything, it'll say like Miller House or something, because that's me. But probably more likely nothing. I'm also not sure if I'm going to do the border or not. It's a really cute vine border with like some pink berries, and I think it's pretty cute. I'm also not going to do the people. Yeah, maybe the squirrels. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do on that top row there, but for sure the trees in that house is so cute. But yeah, so who knows how this will end up, but I think I'm going to end up cutting out a lot of stuff. Yeah, I think it's really cute. And okay, so the 28 count that I did the She Believed She Could on, I had initially bought that for this piece, and it's really big. It would have been, if I had done it over 2 on 28 count, it would have been 12.5 by 16.5 inches. Like, that is very large for house cross stitch, even for me. So I'm really happy I decided to do this 1/1 because I think it's going to be super cute. So I start in the middle. I always start in the middle. And this is like a Hardinger project, in which case I start on the top corner usually. But yeah, so I started in the middle, and I finished that whole middle section, except for the border, of course. So let me show it to you now. Put this white behind it. And yeah, sorry about the wavies here. That's just from my Q-snap not being tightened properly. So I think this turned out pretty sweet. And one of the things I love about 1/1 is you just get like awesome coverage, even on 28 count. Like, look how awesome this coverage is. I guess there is this little dot up here on the roof. Not sure what that is, but you know, other than that, it's awesome coverage. And then since you're only using one strand, you know, you don't have any twisties, which is awesome too. Of course, I'm doing Liberty's Welcome with one strand as well, but on like a 36 or a 40 count. And, you know, you don't get twisties with that either. So you don't have to do it over one. You just have to use one strand to have like that great thread laying. So yeah, I think this turned out really cute. The sheep are pretty cute. I like the crows. Although the crow on the red house side looks bigger for some reason than the crow on the blue house side. But like, I mean, I haven't actually counted, but I've looked closely, and I think they're counted the same. It might just be like the same thing with these wavies, just because of the Q-snap. One thing about doing 1/1, which I'm sure all of you who do 1/1 skin on your elegant ladies know, is it is a pain to pick out. Oh my gosh. I had, so I started in the middle here, and then I went ahead and put in just the yellow part of the doors. When I came back to do the other part of the door, I realized that I had put this yellow one row too low. And, you know, a couple of years ago, I would have been like, just, you know, whatever, nobody's gonna know. It's fine, you know, it's good enough. But recently, like, pretty much since I started my faith cross stitch, so that's been like, like a year and a half now, I've been a lot more like perfectionist, and I want to get things like as perfect as I can get them, which I think is fine, but that just means I had to, actually I had done like not just the yellow but the brown and the cream around the door as well. And then when I was getting ready to start the red is when I realized like everything was one row too low. And so I took it out. And I'm not gonna lie, it took about an hour and 45 minutes to take this little piece out. And I mean, I'm not gonna say, it's hard for me to say it was worth it because it seems like a waste of time, but I'm not grumpy about taking that time for that door. And I think it looks good. It probably would have looked fine. Yeah, it probably would have looked fine if I hadn't taken it out. There is another mistake. Over here, there's supposed to be 4 rows of blue between the window and the beginning of the roof, and there are only 3. And I didn't notice that until, I mean, really, I could have taken it out. It would have been super easy, but I had already done this and that. But none of the blues were in and the roof wasn't in. So it would have been really easy to fix, but I decided that wasn't worth it. So I don't know why 1 row over here isn't worth it, but 1 row over here is. Maybe it was just the timing. who knows? But anyway, I think this turned out really cute, and I'm gonna go ahead and keep working on it. You know, I'm gonna do the full stitch. So yeah, that is a new start, and you know, good progress on it too. And actually, before I graduated, I had like a little bit of time off, and so I actually decided to go home for a week. And while I was home, I started a new piece, and it's almost done actually, but I haven't worked on it for quite a while. Oh, yeah, now I remember why. So, I started the Hope sampler by Cross and Patch, designed by Emmy Bishop. It is a companion piece to the Faith sampler that I did last year for my grandmother. So you can look up close and you can see the colors are different. Well, no, the colors are the same as the Faith sampler, but I changed the colors in mine to like a lavender and yeah, a lavender and a sage with some yellow sprinkled in, and I did the same thing for this one. However, the Faith sampler did not have this blue. This one has blue ribbons in it. You can see them down here too. And so I was having a hard time deciding what to put in for the blue. And that's why I put this on hold, because I was starting to get frustrated with it. So this one I actually started in the middle, because the top row, yeah, the top row is like cluster blocks and like woven bars. And right before I went home, I had just finished the Nativity sampler, and I had done like a ton of cluster blocks and woven bars, and I didn't want to deal with that. You know, I was like ready for a break, you know, something different. So that's why the top band is not complete at this point. So, okay. This top band is why I put this project on hold. Let me see, I'm gonna grab some paper. Okay, so here's the top, the first band. And you can see that I haven't completed it yet. I do have all the clusters in place and all the cutting done, but I've only done a few of the woven bars. Oh, it looks like I did all the woven bars across the bottom, and now I'm just going back across the top and doing the dove's eyes. And you might notice that every bow on this row is a different color. Like a different color way, I guess you would call it. So I was initially going to do like, I want like gold bows, but you can't really get gold with yellows. It just doesn't really work. So then I was kind of going for like a greeny olive bow, and it didn't really work either because you can't really see it. So that's why I ended up putting this one down, because I have put these in and torn them out like 10 times total. Not all of them, but you know, like I put them all in and then I didn't like it, so I went back and I was just like changing this one. And then I had done it like so many times that I felt like I was hurting the fabric, so I was like, okay, we'll just wait for that one to cool off and then I'll start working on this one. So that's kind of how things went down. And I was talking to my mom about it, because I was like showing her pictures and stuff, and she eventually said like, oh, well, why don't you just do the lavender? And I thought about it, and I don't know why I didn't think of that before. Well, I think I know why. The reason I didn't think of that before is because the bows in this one are labeled blue, which is a different color than the flower. The flower in this one is charted pink, and I changed it to lavender like I did in the Faith one. The Faith one has some bows too. I don't know if you remember, like along the edges of the garland it has some bows, and they're charted for the same color as the flower. So I don't know why these are charted as a different color. And that was already after I had like put it away in frustration a little bit. So I haven't taken it out since then. That was like right around, I mean, I was like in the middle of packing. So, you know, it was probably about a month ago, or 6 weeks or so. So I haven't taken it out since then. So yeah, hopefully I can get a little further along on that. This is the alphabet portion of the sampler. I think it turned out really nice. I really like these little scallop stitches, which, you know, it's just a satin stitch. I had to take this one out a couple times too. Well, the top one I took out once, and the bottom one, which is down here, I took out once as well. It probably really wasn't that important to take out, but again, the perfectionism thing has really kicked in recently. I also really like this band beneath the scallop stitches. I think it's super pretty. And I really love the hope letters. So the color, sorry, before stitching this, the color like on the skein does not look like this. This to me looks like a little bit like greenish tan, and just looks tan on the skein, but when I stitched it onto this fabric and with these other colors, it has this nice green tone to it, which I think is really pretty. So that is the hope bar. And then this, I haven't completed either. This band looks weird. The way the chart tells you to do it, it's kind of like a dove's eye, but without the woven bars. So it kind of looks like wrong. So I haven't decided if I'm gonna do that yet, or if I'm gonna do like woven bars or what. But I have it all ready to go for when I do it. And then the bottom, it's kind of like a grand cluster block, you know, concoction, like the Faith one and the Victoria sampler one had at the bottom, which I haven't started yet at all. So, you know, I'm really doing pretty well on this. There are only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bands, and I have finished 2 of them, and 2 other ones are started and like at least 50% or 75% complete. So I think that is some pretty good progress on a new start. Yeah. So that's turning out really, really pretty, and I like that. I had bought the fabric for this one like a long time ago. I think shortly after I finished the Faith one, and I just haven't gotten around to starting it. And so I'm happy that I got to start it while I was visiting my mom, and she of course already has it done. She's done it, I mean, and so I like to look at her piece and kind of learn from it. So it's fun to start them at home. Okay, that's it for new starts. For whips, I really don't have a lot of whips right now, other than those 2 new starts. So I have the Little House and the Hope. And then I have Liberty's Welcome, which I haven't worked on at all. And I kind of mentioned it in the last video. It's kind of because I saw the 1/1 version of that one and I fell in love with it, and now I like don't like my version anymore. I do want to thank you for your comments though. Somebody left a comment, and anyway, it was helpful. And I think I will finish this one. I would love to do it over one, but I already finished the house, which is like a huge ordeal, so I don't really want to do that again. And it's okay to have bigger ones. It's okay. It'll be fine. So I think I'm going to do it. I'm just still not really at that point where I can do it right now. And then the only other whip I have is my chatelaine, which I haven't worked on in a long time. I don't even know the last time I worked on it, probably like in October or something. So it's been several months, and last time I worked on it, I completed like the first part, the center of the mandala, and oh, this is all folded up so cute. So this time I finished the second part. So the reason that I think this was on hold for so long is because at the beginning of part 2 you use a lot of petite treasure braid around the perimeter, and it wasn't that really put me off, but I guess it was like supposed to represent a path, and I didn't really like that as far as like it representing a path, and I didn't like that it was like mixed in with like a solid silk color. And so I kind of thought about exchanging the petite treasure braid for like a darker brown color or something, but I was like, ultimately, the reason I took this out again was because I wanted to start the little house one, and I wanted to use the Q snaps that were on this one. And so I took it out to take the Q snaps off, and I was like, oh, I haven't worked on this in a while, and then like it got me motivated to do it. And I think this turned out really cute. Let me see. It probably doesn't matter, but this way is up. So, last time I showed it to you, I had just done this part. This dark green outline was the edge of what I had done. And since then, I added this part, all this petite treasure braid in, is it the green? Yeah, in the green. And then this is the part I was talking about here, this petite treasure braid with, there's like a golden colored silk in there. I don't know if you can tell. And then all along here are like a ton of rice stitches. So something I'm worried about with this one is, well, I'm a little confused because these rice stitches, the directions were to use 2 strands of the silk for them. And then there's like a ton more rice stitches in this whole piece, like a ton. And the next section that has the rice stitches says to use 1 strand. And one of the reasons I'm confused is because when I was doing these, I was like surprised how fast my thread was running out. And I was like, why are we doing these with 2 strands? Like, I feel like you can't even see like the lines that well. And so now I wonder if I did this part wrong, if this part was supposed to be in 1 strand and she just like had a typo or something, because then the next part says 1 strand. Anyway, I'm not taking it out. I think it looks fine. But now I don't know if I should do the next part with 2 strands or the call for 1 strand. And I think either way, I'm gonna have to buy some more of whatever floss this was, because I only got 1 skein in my in my kit that I ordered, and I don't think that's gonna be enough even if I do only 1 strand, because there are tons and tons of rice stitches, which isn't my favorite. Not that they're hard, but it's just like kind of boring. I don't know why that's boring, but like little X's aren't. It's not really logical, but I think this is really pretty. You know, like I only added this much to it, but I love it. I just think it's so nice. So as I'm sure all of you with shadowing experience know, all of these empty spaces here will be filled with beads. I'm just waiting. Oh, these are like going to be big treasures or something. I don't know. So it's going to look awesome when it's done, but it still has a long ways to go. Luckily though, this is not a very large piece. This is the fabric for it. And I usually leave, well, I don't think I chose this one. So I think this is probably like 2 inches edging. So really if you take like 4 inches off in each side, that's, you know, on the top and on the side. It's not very big at all. So I should work on this more and get it done. It's just very slow going, you know. I like to see like lots of progress, and I feel like to get any progress on this you have to put in a lot of time, and sometimes I just don't have a lot of time to put in. But I really like this one. I'm excited how it's turning out. Alright, so last part, a little bit of haul, and actually it's kind of a lot of haul for me. I am not really sure what got into me. Well, I did go to my new cross stitch store. So like I said, I moved from DC to Baltimore. The cross stitch store here is called the Stitching Post, and I'm sure you have heard of it. I know that Stephanie, I think her name is, from Mrs. Oh So Crafty. Miss Oh So Crafty went there right after I went there. Right after I went there, I was really excited to do a video, and then like one of hers came out, and she had gone there too on the way to a retreat. So go and see her video. She like has an awesome description of it. It's really a great store, and they have tons of samples, and they're all like easy to view. Let's see, what was the name of my LNS in DC? Oh, it was called In Stitches, and that was a great store too. It was a little bit like more confined, and so it was like a little bit, it was like darker, and it just didn't have, it was just like a little bit more constricted. And all the samples, they had tons of samples too, but they were all up high, and so you couldn't look up at them closely. And the ones at the Stitching Post are all like in an easy to see, up close location, and it's very big and open. It has very high ceilings. There's lots of light, so it's a great shop. And right at the front door, they had, I think it was 5 pieces, 5 projects that was a sal for them last year, and it was All Creatures Great and Small. I don't know what it's called, but it's that one that Vana was working on, and like it took her forever to get through that huge green hill, you know? And seeing that in person, wow, I really liked it. The thing is, like, they did it on 40 count, and it was still like huge. I mean, it was still like this big maybe. It was just huge. So I'm thinking like, ooh, that would be a good one to do 1/1. But I don't know that that's going to be great like with the small motifs that are in that piece. I'm not sure. The 1/1 piece that I made for my mom, it did have like small motifs as well, and it was okay, but also like on the 32 count, it was a little hard to see them. Like you had to have a lot of stitches together to be able to like start seeing it. And that was partially, I think, the 1/1 thing, but I think it was also partially the colors. And so you know, if my colors weren't so like dark as that other one that I showed you, then I think it might turn out better, but I don't know. Like I said, I am not buying any more stash until I finish everything that I already have. And I already have some things in my stash that I haven't used, that I haven't done yet, that I like already had before this haul that I have to show you. So I want to finish those, and then these as well, which I bought. So this one I showed you, I bought it for this one, and so I consider this done. Okay, I might still do this one, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I'll do that one or not, but this one is counted as complete because I completed the portion for which I purchased the chart. So that is going in the done pile. Let's see, I'll start out with fabric because I do not buy fabric for my stash. Like, that's just not something I do. I buy fabric for the pieces I'm working on. So it's very unusual I got so much fabric. Well, to be fair, I guess these three were for pieces. So these are three cuts from the stitching post that I got. This first one is White Belfast by Zweigart. And I think it's a 36. No, it's a 32 count. And it's so great. They have these like pre-cut pieces of linen. They're like under $10, like $9.50 I think. $9.25 for a 13.5 by 18. So I think that's like a fat quarter. Yeah, I think that might be a fat quarter. Anyway, it was the right size for the piece I'm going to do it on, which I guess I'll just show it now. I also bought this while I was at the stitching post. It is another design by the Victoria Sampler. It's called White Christmas. And they had this sample at the store and is just really pretty. I'm not sure if you can see. There's not a lot of contrast. It's white on white with silver and blending filament, and it's very pretty. So I'm gonna do this. The only change that I'm gonna make is up here on the top. I think it says like Dreaming of a White Christmas or something. I don't like that because this doesn't look, well, I mean, it is Christmassy, but this could easily pass for like a winter one. And so, I know this is surprising after I talked about how I don't like words a minute ago, but I probably still will do words here because I don't think these bands would look awesome together without the words in the middle. But I'm gonna change the font. I'm gonna use like a script, I think, if I can. And I'm gonna say, I'm not sure what I'm gonna put there yet, but it'll be something more like Winter Wonderland or like Let It Snow or something that is wintry and not Christmassy. And that way, you know, I can have it up for longer. Anyway, so that is what I got this fabric for. And I got all, I don't know what I was thinking. I got all the like fibers for it as well. I didn't get the beads, but I think that's because I might have some like left over from the Nativity Sampler. So yeah, this one is kind of interesting because it's actually the first piece that I've ever bought that is hand charted. So yeah, it's a little different. And it's interesting because these bars like repeat all the way across, and so they show like the first 4, for example, of the top bar, and then they just have like an arrow to just indicate like, and just keep doing that. And they do that in like several of the sections, so I don't know, I think that's kind of funny. But yeah, I think this is so pretty, and it's gonna be like an awesome winter piece. So I think I'll probably I'll probably start this once it starts to get a little colder outside. I mean, I'd love to do it now, but I have a lot of other stuff going on right now, stitchy-wise, so I'll probably hold off on that. Okay, another piece that I got from the Stitching Post is this one by Shepherd's Bush called Joyful Christmas. The reason I got this one, and like, this is so ridiculous. The reason I got this one is because my mom did it, but I think she borrowed it from a friend because she doesn't have this chart anymore. I think her friend made it and she lent her the chart, so then she made it. And I actually got this because it was only $5, and I thought that was a good price. And I also thought it might be fun to try 1/1. Since then, I've changed my mind. I'll probably not do it 1/1. Interestingly, the called for fabric for this piece is an 18 count linen. Like 18 count? I didn't even know they made linen 18 count. So I think the idea is for it to have like this country style to it, because they also say to do it 1/2. So one thread over two fabric threads on an 18 count. Like, that's gonna be awful coverage, and I guess it's like maybe a rustic thing that they're going for. I don't know. I mean, the picture looks like it has good coverage, so I'm not sure what I'm missing here. It just seems really weird. So anyway, I bought a 36 count for it, I think. Yeah, so I bought this natural, let's see, 36 count natural Edinburgh linen. And yeah, you know what natural looks like. And so I might do it on this over 2. I don't know. I guess it depends a lot on what size it'll end up. So I might end up having to get more fabric for that. But this isn't really on the horizon right now. The thing about this one is it does have buttons. I don't know if you can see, it has angel buttons. I think it has some star buttons. So yeah. That would be a problem if I didn't use the called for fabric count, but I'm sure that like Jabco probably has like other angels and other stars that I could use if I could like scale them down. So we'll see. Luckily, well, it's not lucky because I made this decision, so it's just a decision I made. In order to complete all the things that I have, I am like allowed to buy more supplies, so more fabric and more thread as needed. So that one I might need to get some more thread for. And then this one, this is a summer khaki Edinburgh, so it makes me think of Nell, her favorite. Not the count, but the color. And it's this is actually what I bought for the fairy garden piece, but then I decided not to do the 36 count because Kelly had recommended I did the 28 count instead, or like a smaller count instead, so I used the 32 count. And really, I wish I had used this color. I think I would have liked better how it turned out, because like I said, I didn't really love the color of the fabric that I chose, or the called for fabric that they you know, that was charted. But now I have this. This is extra 36 count in my stash, which is weird because I don't really have extra fabric in my stash. But when I went home, we stopped at my mom's L&S, and I got 2 bags of what it's like, they're like grab bags of like their leftover fabric. Because, as I've mentioned before, something I love about her L&S, which is, it's something like really funny, like the Center for Fine Stitchery or something. or the Crafting Center of Fine Stitchery. I'm not sure. I don't remember what it's called. It's something weird like that. It's in Salt Lake. And it's a great shop. I love it. And I love that they cut your linen to size. They cut it exactly the size you want it, and they charge you by like the square inch or something. And so anyway, due to that, they end up with like extra pieces, and they just sell these grab bags that are $5. And not only that, but they're in clear plastic, so you can even see like what you're getting. And so I chose these two. I don't know, like, that's just like a really fat, even weave, I guess. But I got a ton of vintage country mocha in this one, which is awesome because that's what I use for my Joyful World style pieces. So maybe I won't have to buy, well, I'll probably have to buy more because I still have 6 to do, but I'll probably be able to do several on the stuff I got in here. And then I just thought it'd be good to have some fabric in my stash. So yeah, we have that. And then we have 2 more charts. I bought the Fairy Garden chart, which, as I said, I'm lending to my mother now. I don't know what possessed me to buy this one. It's been on my like wish list forever, and I think what happened is when I first went to look it up, it wasn't available. And so when I happened to be on my wish list one day, I saw that it was available, so I'm like, ooh, I'll buy it. And also, I've been really thinking a lot about 1/1 lately, and I was like, oh, this one would be cute 1/1 because I saw Vonna do it for like some of her ornaments last year. Some of her like family like yearly ornaments, she did these 1/1, and I thought it looked really cute. But I think I'll probably end up doing this one just like normal, like 2/2. And surprisingly, I mean, it doesn't look that big. And especially since the first time I saw it, well, I think the first time I saw it was when Vonna did it for her ornaments. So it's always like been small in my head. But if you do this over 2, it's 7¼ inches square. And so it's like a pretty good size actually. But yeah, I think this is just super cute. Yeah. Not sure if I will be using those words, poinsettia house, but maybe. I'm not sure. I don't hate it, but I don't know that I love it either, but I'm not sure what I would put there instead. So that is yet to be determined, but I think I'll do the border. I do like the border on this one. It's really cute. The reason I don't think I'm going to do the border on the houses that I'm working on now is because it's already so big. I mean, I'm doing it over 1, so it's not that big, but anyway, I don't know, we'll see. And then the last one that I got, I also explicitly got to do it 1/1. I got this at the LNS when my mom came to visit. We went and checked out the stitching post, and it's probably stupid. This is actually the day that I decided not to buy, like after we left the LNS. It's the day I decided to finish everything I have in my stash before I buy anything else. And that's because I feel bad like going to an LNS and looking at everything like 3 times. I mean, literally, we walked around the store like 3 times. It was like ridiculous, and I think I touched like every chart in that store. Not really, it wasn't that bad, but like we spent a good amount of time there, and so I kind of feel bad like not buying something. And that's, you know, I wanted this, so it's okay. But I didn't really need it. I wanted to try this over 1 because it's a house, which I think is good to do over 1 because it's a large block of things, but it also has like these small motifs. And I wanted to try the small motifs over 1 to see if maybe, just maybe, the all creatures great and small, or, you know, whatever that one is with the big hill, if that one would look okay over 1, even though it has these small motifs. So that's the specific reason why I got this. Honestly, I've been looking at the Home for the Holidays book that my mom got me for my birthday this year, which is like a ton of Blackbird Designs patterns, and there's a house one in there. And it has some small motifs, I think. And so that one probably could have worked just as well as this one, but I bought this as a thank you for letting me walk around your shop for an hour and a half souvenir. So yeah, I think I'm going to change the colors on this though, because the colors are kind of bland actually, and I don't know, I don't think I like them. Or maybe these colors would be okay, but on like a lighter fabric. We'll see. And actually, this was before I decided to do the She Believed She Could over one, and so I got this to actually stitch up and put in that gold frame, since the Fairy Garden one didn't work out in the frame because of the fabric. So this is kind of bought for multiple like purposes that are now kind of obsolete. But I'm still going to do it, and I'll still probably try to do it over one. And I'll try to find another cute like 4x4 frame for it too. Anyway, that is pretty much it for finishes, starts, whips, and haul. So I hope you enjoyed this video and that you got tons of stitching done while you were watching it. And I hope that I get to see you guys again soon with lots of progress, but maybe not as much progress as I previously thought I should have. Anyway, have a great stitchy month, and I'm really loving your videos, so keep making them. They make me laugh, they make me smile, and they just make me want to keep stitching. So keep it up. Love you guys.